walk out to the show and fall at your door. We got that info for you. Touchdown on that plane and buy anything. More than just a podcast for you.
So on the show, we do something called the best of. And so the first question in our best of is, who's the best soccer player in the world? Ronald told me that I could not say Pele or David Beckham, that I had to pick somebody that was recent. So yes, I don't get a choice this time. Who's the best, gentlemen?
My vote is for Messi, who plays for Barcelona by far right now. I think he's the best player in the world. I think if anyone was starting a team, he would be the first pick that people would choose. But the good part about this game is everyone looks at things differently. They may look at different personalities. They may look at different positions. But for me, I think right now is Messi's the best in the world.
So what makes him the best?
Just his ability to break you down. He's so good of not just himself individually, but also bringing other people into the game. But when he gets the ball and he's turning and running at you, I mean, it's dangerous. And it's fun as a spectator to watch too. So not only the best in the world, but he's one of the funnest players to watch as well. When he's playing at a high level, he's very, very good.
Okay. Don't be shy, gentlemen. Don't be shy.
I'd have to agree with Messi. Just growing up, I remember going to College of Charleston, like Ralph Lundy camps. Their head coach would do summer camps, and he would always talk about Messi dribbling circles around other players and just his technical ability. And that's what he does. He can cut through a whole team and make it look easy. And he's not a big guy. He's a pretty small guy. And so that's kind of cool too, that, in America, we might focus on like height and strength and, how much you weigh. But you look at a guy like Messi who doesn't have, he's fast and he's quick, but like he doesn't have all these things that we might desire as an athlete, and he's the best in the world.
Okay. I wrote down that you do break. I didn't know you could break somebody down in soccer. Things that you learn, things that you learn. I didn't know that was a thing. I'm like, okay. Tucker was the best.
I think you have 3 votes for Messi right now. I'd have to. And I think that's it's an interesting question you get into, kind of like what Curtis was getting into, right? He's a player that's different from the rest, and I think as a soccer player, you kind of value that. You value someone's unique ability to be that good as Messi is, with with being a smaller guy on the field, height wise. Obviously playing at that level, he is incredibly strong. He's, the quickest there is. Overall pace, he's not as fast as some of the other extremely top, fast players in terms of top speed. But, how smart he is. There's a lot of things that go into it. If you look at pure performance wise, he's won the most Ballon d'Ors, which is essentially the world's best player. And you can argue that just because it's an award voted by journalists and stuff like that. However, it's something you can't look past. It is the world's best player award, essentially, and he has 6 of them right now, more than any other player.
What's it called? Say it again. The Ballon d'Ors.
Ballon. Yeah, I believe it's French. It's Ballon d'Or, so it's 2 separate words. So yeah,
that's like the AP poll for soccer players. Would it be equivalent? Like, how the AP journalists vote on the best coach, the best football team? Does that be like the soccer equivalent?
It would be more like a Heisman Trophy.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you got 6 Heismans. Got it. Got it.
Yeah. At the professional level across the entire world is what that award is. So from a pure, award standpoint, and being voted, the best, he's done, and it's awarded every year, right? Just like the Heisman. So right, he's won 6. So I would have to give it to Messi. I respect a lot of things about some of the other top players out there. I mean, you can't have this conversation without mentioning Cristiano Ronaldo. So I'm interested to see what JT has to say.
I would agree with the crew on, and I think Messi's demeanor, just his character, that kind of stands out to me. He's doesn't really brag. He just shows up, puts the work in, does what he needs to do, goes home, takes care of his family, right? So, in terms of probably the best player, I think I enjoy watching him. Although as a center back, I also love to watch Virgil van Dijk, who unfortunately has an injury right now. But I love watching him because he almost shows like Americans that like you could be this really big, strong presence, but yet have like really good skill and finesse, and kind of his leadership on the field kind of helps him stand out. And but if I had to say, in terms of if I had to put a team together, I would love to have him and Messi on. I'd like to have Messi scoring the goals and Virgil van Dijk, controlling the defense to make sure that he can just run free and do what he likes to do. So, but if I had to pick one of them, and influential and all around, even down to merchandising and all that other stuff, I mean, Messi's selling more jerseys than most people out there. So, but I also think that, you've been blessed to have this gift, and I think you should be very humble and humble about that. And I just like the way that Messi does all those things.
I just want to point out that you guys all said Messi and you all gave 4 different reasons. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but 4 completely different reasons. Technical skill, demeanor, physical stature, awards, very, very different reasons, which is kind of cool. So I guess it's Messi. And he's all around awesome in lots of different ways. And so parents that are listening, I want you to think about this. You have someone that talked about what he's able to do, even though he's not a traditional size, his demeanor, merchandising, his technical skills, and the way that he's able to perform on the field. No, that's wrong. Yeah, is it the field? It's the soccer field, right? Okay. Yes, the field. And he gets results, awards. He's the Heisman Trophy winner of World Soccer. So again, 4 distinctly different reasons on why he is the best player in the world. So we talked about club soccer. So I'm going to ask, is club soccer necessary if you want to play in college? And this is the part where I tell parents, I do know something about soccer, and club soccer is the equivalent of AAU or 7-on-7. It's travel soccer. See, I know a little. So is it necessary to play it if you want to go to college?
I believe so. I wouldn't say it's totally necessary, but the way that, like Tucker was saying earlier, and I'm sure everybody on here is, they have what's set up called like showcases, which are like larger tournaments where college coaches can go and see a bunch of players kind of in one setting. So unlike a high school game where they can go and show up and they're only watching 2 teams and they may be just looking at one player, at these showcase tournaments, they can go buckle down for a weekend and watch a couple hundred players and get a bigger bang for their buck. And that kind of only happens at the club level, unless you're in a state where, you know, there's a huge, you know, setup for, you know, all-star teams and stuff like that. But I would say it's pretty necessary to play club unless you have a good coach. I'm sure, you know, Kurt's like one of these guys who's connecting to the collegiate coaches to tell them about players. You either have to have a good connected coach that can get you exposed, or you need to have, or you probably need to play club.
Yeah, JT was right on. As a high school coach, you know, when I sit with my players, I explain to them the same thing: is if I'm a college coach and only have a certain recruiting budget that I can go to, I'm going to go to a club showcase and I'm going to see 200 kids compared to going to high school and seeing 22. You know, that's where it's just going to make more sense as a college coach of where you're going to spend your time and energy, because you can't see every kid. But also the kids can sell themselves a little bit too. You know, for us locally, we get the local colleges that'll come to watch some individual players, or we'll get someone that's coming to already know that they're watching an individual player. We're not going to have college coaches that are just going to show up to see, you know, a random, I'm going to come to a high school game. They're going to go to club. That's where they're going to spend their time. It's where they spend their energy, and it makes sense. You know, when you go see 200 kids in a day compared to seeing 22. Allie, no.
Tucker, thoughts?
Yeah, no, I would say our sort of our college system we've got down, right? The NCAA does a great job of, you know, setting up these, you know, multiple different sports, having the right funding. That's one thing we do have right when it comes to sports and soccer in particular. And you know, a lot of these teams as soccer, especially professionally, it's starting to grow. Some of these teams in colleges are giving their you know, soccer teams more of a budget to go do these things, to go to recruiting tournaments and stuff. And so it's becoming more widely known by parents. But yes, to answer your question, it is, I think, absolutely necessary. If you're looking to go to college, you want to play club and you want to go to these tournaments where all these coaches are going to be at, just like you know, JT and Curtis have already mentioned. So you're gonna want to play on these teams, and you know, each city, each you know, region, wherever it may be, and you know, depending on the states, may have a lot of teams. They may only have one team, but you know, to obviously put yourself in the best situation possible, you want to try and be on the best team possible that's going to go to a lot of these tournaments and get seen by the most amount of coaches as possible. And that's what's going to give you obviously the better odds of you know, a coach liking you, reaching out to you, saying, hey, you know, what would you think about coming on a visit, stuff like that. So
yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with these guys as well. Just in terms of exposure, it's a lot higher chance you get seen by a coach playing club or playing academy than you would just playing high school. I think locally, like for example, Rob Mitchell at BGA, he's connected to like Lipscomb and Belmont. But if you're looking to go, you know, outside of the area, it would definitely be of benefit to play club. And even I remember doing things like, you know, getting a highlight tape put together and sending that out in communication with coaches and kind of marketing yourself a little bit as well. And say, you know, maybe when you're going to the showcase, I'm playing at this field at this time. Here's my highlight video. And like, if you're interested in a particular program and trying to catch a coach's eye, it could help.
Before we go to the next question, I want to highlight something that I have found based on the feedback you guys just gave me, which was unexpected, that the college travel budget determines how and where soccer coaches go to recruit. Because football is the opposite. There's a real push for 7-on-7s, not to like the equivalent to football travel is 7-on-7. And it's a big deal that there are places where they're like, no, we're not going to allow college coaches to come to 7-on-7 tournaments. But then again, I think football is a high dollar sport. There's lots of money in it, but it's been interesting as a football parent to hear you guys say that with soccer, the college coaches are encouraged to come to a showcase where you can see a ton of kids, whereas that's not that's really not what we see in the football experience. And a lot of it has to do, based on your feedback, parents, college coaches have travel budgets, and so you need to be mindful of the fact that they do have travel budgets. And you gave me a question, so the next time I have you guys back, I'm going to ask, how do our parents choose a travel team? Because I'm learning from you that it's super important, just based on how college coaches actually do their recruiting. So I like to pause and give nuggets. So parents, that's a nugget for you guys.